Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Game of the season, I'm going to mark it down as a loss, but I'm going to tell y'all, even though it's going to be a loss, it's going to be one of those games where we really find out how great our defense is and how much our team can actually stay with a team like the Bears. So I really feel that, again, the reason why I say that we're going to lose, it's home, it's Monday night. We have a terrible record at home. We have a terrible record on Monday night. And I think that the Bears right now are a little bit better than us when it comes to their defense. Again, Khalil Mack is a beast. To me, I feel that a lot of people don't talk about this guy, but Eddie Goldman is a beast. He's actually from the DC area, and the guy is actually a beast. So, he's just one of those, he's like a Ryan Kerrigan. He just doesn't get as much credit as he should.
Well, what happened was that second quarter, and we got our ass kicked. Or the second quarter, just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second quarter sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second quarter. That's what it boiled down to. It was a horse performance in the second quarter. I'm totally embarrassed and totally ashamed. Coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second quarter. It sucked. It stunk.
What's going on? This is your man, John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today is a day that just drives me crazy about the Redskins. I'm going to get into the play-by-play, and I'm just going to go down what happened in the game and everything like that. I'm also going to talk about several things that, to me, is just aggravating to no end, and how everything is going. So, first quarter, Chicago goes on offense. The defense stopped them at their 48-yard line. Montez Sweat comes up with his first sack of the season. Defense looks good so far. Everything seems to be going fine. Washington gets on its first offensive drive, and I think it was 5 plays. Then Case Keenum does what Case Keenum has always done, and what I told y'all he was going to do. Case Keenum throws an interception directly to Clinton-Dix, who, by the way, wasn't anything when he was here in D.C., couldn't catch a cold when he was in D.C., got a pick. Not only did he get a pick, he also returned it for a touchdown. So, that was error number 1. We go back on offense. We're driving down the field. Now, a lot of what we got in that drive were penalties by Chicago. But again, we got down at the 23. Next thing you know, the drive stalled. Khalil Mack comes up with a big sack because Jeremy Sprinkle missed a block. Now, I know a lot of y'all may blame Vernon Davis, but Vernon Davis came from the opposite side of the lineup to try his best to come around and block Khalil Mack. But what happened was Jeremy Sprinkle initially missed the block. Chicago goes back on offense. We get them down. We get them way, way down by the line. Matt Ioannidis comes up with a sack. Now, the thing that I was confused about with this was the NFL is really, really doing everything they can to protect these quarterbacks. And this play is an example of why they need to scale back the rules. No matter how you look at that, that was a safety. That was a safety. He tackled him in the end zone. There's no way that just because he touches him, that all of a sudden that's considered him being down. It should have been a safety. That should have been a sack in the end zone. Their drive stalls at the 22-yard line. Washington goes back on offense, and we're driving into the first quarter. Bears up 7-0. Second quarter comes around, and this is where the disaster happens. Washington is still driving from the first quarter. We get stalled at the Bears' 23-yard line. Trevathan makes a sack, and on top of that, we missed the field goal. Chicago goes back on offense. They do an 11-play drive. 58 yards, and Taylor Gabriel scores the touchdown. Washington goes back on offense. Two plays. That's all we got out of that drive. 2 plays. One was a penalty. And then we had a strip fumble at the Redskins 13-yard line. Here we go. Chicago goes back on offense. 3 plays. Taylor Gabriel, another touchdown. Washington goes back on offense. This time, 2 plays. 2-play drive. In the second play, Case Keenum throws another interception. Chicago goes back on offense. 9 plays, 73 yards, touchdown, Taylor Gabriel again. Washington goes back on offense. We have a 5-play, 51-yard drive. Ends in a field goal. Redskins are down. At the half, Redskins are down 28-3. We gave up 21 points in 1 quarter to one guy. One guy. Gave him 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. 21 points to one guy. Third quarter, we come out. We're on offense. We have a 3-play drive. Case Keenum throws another interception. Chicago goes back on offense. They have a 3-play drive that ends with them with a missed field goal. The defense is holding. We come back on offense. We have an 8-play drive that went 66 yards and it ended with Terry McLaurin scoring a touchdown. We get a 2-point conversion. We sit up there and we go for 2. Case Keenum throws the ball into the ground. We did not convert the 2-point conversion. Now, for Terry McLaurin, this is his 3rd game in a row where he has a touchdown. Chicago goes back on offense. They have a 7-play drive that ended with Josh Norman actually stepping up for once and getting the interception. But I'm not going to give him a lot of credit because guess what? He was still getting burned this game. Still getting himself burned this game. Yeah, he did come up with the interception, but for how many times he got burned, he should have had far more interceptions. So then all of a sudden, we're driving into the 3rd quarter. We're now down 28-9. 4th quarter comes around. We're driving down the field. We have a 12-play drive that covers 92 yards. We have a touchdown to Paul Richardson. We have another 2-point conversion. Another 2-point conversion that we're going for. This time, Case Keenum overthrows Terry McLaurin. So the first time he throws it into the ground, the second time he throws it in over Terry McLaurin. So Case Keenum, to me, is not looking good. He hasn't looked good at all. Chicago comes back on offense. They go 3 and out. The defense is still doing what they can to hold this team. We go back on offense. We have a 10-play drive. McLaurin is like the feature of this drive. Then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, we stop going to him. Now, mind you, we need to hurry up and score points so we can catch up to the Bears. If you keep featuring Terry McLaurin on this drive, you wouldn't have this problem. So then all of a sudden, they stop throwing to him. They do 4 straight run plays. 4 straight run plays, people. First off, why was Adrian Peterson not in the game for that whole stretch? Then on top of that, we had a situation where the next thing that happened is it's 4th and inches. And Case Keenum tries to jump over the top and fumbles the ball. So just so I can stop there, at this point, Case Keenum has a turnover for each quarter. He had 5 turnovers in this game, but so far he's had a turnover each quarter. Chicago goes back on offense. They have a 10-play drive that goes 58 yards and they kick a field goal. Then the Redskins go back on offense. We have a 5-play drive. We win 43 yards. Game ends on a sack. Redskins lose 31-15, and it's just a disaster. Now, I'm going to get into this. Now, first thing I want to talk about is Case Keenum. I told y'all before that Case Keenum was not the quarterback for this team. And when I've said that, everybody has looked at me as though I didn't know what I was talking about, or the fact that I didn't understand what was going on. Now, Booger McFarland sat up there and said in the telecast that when it came down to Case Keenum throwing to Terry McLaurin, he said that it seems like Terry McLaurin has to wait or slow down for Case Keenum to deliver him the ball. That's pretty funny, because guess what? Guess who else said that some time ago about Case Keenum throwing to Terry McLaurin? You know who? This guy. Terry McLaurin slowed down to try to adjust to Case Keenum's throwing. Yes, I told y'all that when it came to Terry McLaurin, when it came to Case Keenum throwing to Terry McLaurin, I told y'all that Case Keenum does not get the ball out to him fast enough, that he has to slow up his routes. He has to try to come back and wait for Case Keenum to get him the ball. I told you guys that. Yet still, when I said that, all of a sudden it was like, oh, nah, that can't be true. Nah, he's doing what he's supposed to do. I told y'all. Now somebody from a telecast sits up there and sees exactly what I saw. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, now y'all understand what I was talking about. Same thing applies. Now, don't get me wrong. Case Keenum, let me give y'all his numbers. 30 for 43, 331 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 2 fumbles. That's what we got out of Case Keenum. Now, Paul Richardson, for the first time, he didn't look bad for us. He actually showed up. Terry McLaurin, of course, he's our young rookie. The fact that this guy isn't getting targeted at least 15 times a game is amazing to me. To me, he should be targeted all the time. Now, let me say this. Clinton-Dix looked like he was a Pro Bowl caliber safety on the Chicago Bears against us. When it came to him playing with us, he looked like that was the worst trade we ever made in the entire history of a trade. Now again, we did get him in the middle of the season, but at the same time, there's no way that this guy looks that much better with a whole different team. And so what are we going to get a credit to? Are we going to get a credit to Clinton-Dix for being that good? Or are we going to sit up there and get a credit to Case Keenum for being that bad? Because understand, again, Case Keenum threw 2 interceptions to Clinton-Dix, and 1 he returned for a touchdown. Now, when it comes to the second quarter, how in the hell do you give up 3 touchdowns to the same guy? Now, what we don't talk about is how he beat Josh Norman on a corner route. He beat Josh Norman on a play that they weren't even sure was even a touchdown. And it's so crazy because we don't get into the fact that, you can't play like trash and expect for people to understand how good you are or how good you're supposed to be. Now, when I made my season predictions, I was with the understanding that the defense was going to be far better than what they are. We're now in game 3, and there's just, the coaching is awful. Let's be honest. Jay Gruden has called a terrible offense, and in this game it showed, because he doesn't run the ball when he should run the ball, and he doesn't pass the ball when he should be passing the ball. Instead, he sat up there and he basically made the Bears look like they're ready to march into the Super Bowl. And to me, it just looks awful. I don't understand what else could be done. Now, for y'all who are numbers people, when it comes to, you know, seeing numbers and stuff like that. I'm going to give you a number just so you know. It kept popping up during the whole time. The number 23 or the number 32. For some reason, that number kept popping up. It was 3rd and 2 when Taylor Gabriel got the touchdown. It was the Redskins kept stalling somewhere around the 23-yard line. They had 2 plays where they kept stalling around the 23-yard line. David Montgomery is number 32. So the numbers 2 and 3 kept showing up. For y'all who are numerologist people, the number 23 kept showing up. Now again, like I said, when I told people that I feel that Jay Gruden is purposely trying to lose his job, I was told that I'm crazy. Nah, that doesn't make sense. Who purposely wants to lose a job? Who wouldn't purposely lose a job? If you knew you was going to get fired anyway. Like, we're not talking about a regular job. So like say you work in your regular job and you know you're going to get fired. You know you're going to get fired. Not a thing where it's a surprise that you get fired. You know you're going to get fired. Are you going to put your best effort out there just so you can sit up there and make somebody else look good or train your replacement? Are you going to really do that? Nah, you're not. And to me, again, Greg Minuski, he did a fairly decent job, but that second quarter was just a nightmare. And to be quite honest, people, I'm not really sure how this goes any further now. You know, I don't know how this season ends. I don't know how we're going to go about it. I've been a person that has said over and over again, I feel that Dwayne Haskins needs to be in there playing. I think that that passing attack will be way better. I think our running game will be way better. They have to find something to do with the line. The line isn't looking too sharp, but it is what it is, y'all. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.